Anyway, I got kind of bored of Berkeley. I don't know why, but I got kind of bored. So it was time to get out on the road. So I started hitchhiking out east. And who would have thought I would have ended up in Salt Lake City, Utah? But I did. Let me tell you about it. Okay, so I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. I don't know where I stayed when I first got there. I don't know what happened. I think I met some people on the road or something, but all of a sudden, I'm a part of Salt Lake City, Utah. And why is that, you might ask? Because there's a lot of drugs there. I mean, there was more dope fiends and drug addicts in Salt Lake City than there was in Berkeley. There was a whole different scene there. And they weren't into shooting dope and everything. There it was crystal meth, crank, bathtub meth, all of that. And people weren't snorting it or smoking it back in those days. No, sirree, they were shooting it up. So I started shooting up crystal meth. And then there were barbiturates, secanols, and tuanols, and all that. I just started getting high. I liked living in Salt Lake City, Utah. And that is where a lot of crimes took off. I mean, I have no idea how I made a living. I was ripping people off, selling bogus drugs, selling bunk drugs, selling like mustard and telling them what was mescaline and telling, I was a burn artist. And that is what I did. That is how I made a living in Salt Lake City and doing burglaries and stuff. I remember one night we did this burglary and stole one of those big old gigantic console TVs. Remember those big old giant, big old console TVs that had the TV and the stereo and everything all together? Carrying it out of this house in the snow. It was snowing. It blizzard up to our knees carrying this big ass TV, and I made $100. But anyway, that's the type of shit I did in Salt Lake City, Utah. I became a criminal. I was a real criminal, I'm not armed robbery criminal, but just then I found a dope house and I found junkies and I found Salt Lake City was a good place. And there's this place for underage kids and everything called Hank's, this little bar. It wasn't a bar, but it was a place where underage kids hung out, went there partying and shit at night and shooting up dope in the back. Anyway, that Salt Lake City was really took a spiral downturn. And then one day I ripped off this guy that I was living under his basement stuff, ripped him off, stole one of his checks and, I'm trying to make amends to this day, but I can never find him again. But anyway, stole money and I left Salt Lake City just in time. I decided I've had enough of this. I'm going back to San Diego and turning myself in, starting my life over again. 'Cause I was 18 now. I was 18 now, and I've just decided, it's time to start my life over again. So I went back to San Diego, turned myself in, and just in time. Because right after I left, the guy that I ripped off went to where I was staying. He was ready to kick everybody there's ass looking for me. But I got out that's how I don't understand how I'm still around today. It baffles me that the shit that I've done. But anyway, that was my Salt Lake City experience. It was a good experience. It was a bad experience, but it was what I did. I had my first girlfriend there. Anyway, Salt Lake City, Utah. Who would have thought? That is my experience. But anyway, listen, you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button. Just hit it. Hit the likes and everything. It'll help the channel grow. And then I'll keep telling these stories. And I hope that you go along with me on this journey. Because now I'm in Salt Lake City. Hitchhiked back to San Diego to turn myself in and go to jail and go to whatever fate awaits me. And that was a whole other journey up ahead of me. So I'll tell you about it tomorrow, next day, whenever you're listening to this. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll be back again real soon. Remember, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share, and I'll talk to you again real soon.